Hello YouTube fans, here again. Yes, still got the multiple stabs on my face. I don't feel up the coughing my bollocks off that much. But I figure I might as well. Do some more wrestling. Why not this one? The Days of the Wrestling Channel. That's right, the Wrestling Channel. Believe it or not, on Sky believing shit, believe it or not, Sky started to earn their bread again. For a little bit though. I say that again. For a little bit. So we had what they call the Wrestling Channel. So anyone who was big fans of wrestling, loved wrestling, you probably loved this channel. It was definitely a channel for you. You had the golden days of British wrestling. So if anyone knows the days of the 70s, the 60s, a bit of the 80s, when we had British wrestling, which of course was on the world of sport. You remember the days like Tat Weasel, Big Daddy, Giant H-Stat, Pat Roach, them wrestlers, you know straight away who I'm on about. You had wrestlers like that, the British days of wrestlers. And every night it was on like every Saturday, it was on during the weekdays as well. And it was a good one. Then you had other wrestlers and other wrestling type programs, different wrestling, what I've never even heard of before. And then you had like biographies of wrestlers. You even had a biography of the Dynamite Kid. If you remember the Dynamite Kid. And so on. One of the biggest ones, and I will say this, would have been a big number for us. It would have been the biggest fucking number for us. Would have been TNA. TNA was great. If you love WWE, if you love ECW, if you love WCW, you definitely love TNA. And I've got a TNA each do. Different each do. When I first saw it, you had this women doing a bit of a lap dance, nothing to finger. And the wrestling ring looked different. It wasn't like what you normally see in a wrestling ring. It was like a box format, had rectangles. And then they bought some classic wrestlers like Sting making his comeback. You had other well-known wrestlers, Prize to Roll. So their TNA was quite good. It was definitely quite different. So yeah, that's like TNA. TNA was big at that time, you know what I mean? It was done in ratings. You had pay-per-view wrestling matches. So yeah, if you're definitely a big fan, you definitely would have loved TNA. I say yours had a different exotic dance, doing some exotic dance. You had the wrestling rings, like I say, it was rectangle, and it was TNA. Then you had a few other ones who weren't that day. British wrestling, but the modern British wrestling. And you also had, a bit of like Ascent, Pacific. You had people doing a lot of showmanship, It's more like the old type of wrestling, you have your duddies and you have your baddies. And the wrestling channel, it was pretty good at that time. It was good. A lot of people watched it, and it was a date network. It was great. But, and I will say but, typical style, believe in shit. If I remember rightly, I could be right, I could be wrong. I think it only lasted 3 days. 3 days. And then, like most channels, because it was entertaining, and Sky TV, for some reason, they don't believe in entertainment anymore. Entertainment must be a dirty word, because it went bye-bye. Went bye-bye. And it pisses me off that. It pisses me. Sorry, I found out another cough. Yeah, it pisses me that, because you've had the classic days of British wrestling, like I said, Big Daddy, Tat Weasel, the list goes on. The list goes on. And they took it off air, being Sky believing shit. So what did they do? They bought British wrestling, what would have been World of Sport, on the cheapest network going. They've got other ones you don't even hear of anymore. And TNA. This just takes the piss. takes the piss. It takes the piss because they've got TNA, right? And Sky could have marketed it. They could have spent money on it. They could have invested it. No, 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 no. They put it on the James Show. One of the cheapest, one of the most known channels going. The fucking James Show. In a cheap box format. A cheap box format. Cheapened it and ruined it. That's how I see it. They ruined it. And it's the same because I remember the wrestling channel. I remembered it was entertaining. I remembered it was good. Just from the cheapen it. But there you go. But I remember the days when you had, like I say, you had the British wrestling, you had Big Daddy, you had Giant A Stats. I remember the days when you had the TNA, you had other wrestling channels, and I just don't get Star TV. I don't get Star's logic of thinking. Because something what could have been done, something what could have been entertaining, and they just ruined it. That's how I see it. They ruined it. They took something that could have been entertaining and turned it to shit. But back in the days, that's the wrestling channel. Be into them. Be smart. Be safe. Talk a bit more about wrestling and more things on the way into them. See you later.